Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him. I don't know if he's in his prime, he's fat. He should be lean and mean, he's fat and funky.
Recently, there is a hot story between the legend Mike Tyson and the YouTube star turned boxer Jake Paul. Recently, Jake Paul made some very disrespectful comments about Mike Tyson, and reactions from all corners of the boxing world are fired up. The most recent racket was stirred up at a press conference for a fight right around the corner. Ever the opportunist, Jake Paul seized the moment to start roasting Mike Tyson. And that wasn't all Jake Paul had to say. He shot some from-the-hip verbiage directly at Mike Tyson. His age, his legacy, and his failed pursuit of quitting smoking because of his religion. Jake even went to the extent of calling Tyson a weak and visionless 58-year-old and termed him a clown. Jake even taunted Tyson with a few of these cases, like the time he bit Tyson's ear in a bout. And that was one thing that sparked a reaction from Tyson. That event is one of the most violent events in the history of the said sport, and Jake is the type that is good with words, and he knows how to wrap his message around it.
Jake Paul has disrespected Mike Tyson, and now he wants to kill him.
His words were bold, provocative, and designed to get under Tyson's skin. Now what about Tyson's response to this brazen call-out? The furious challenge spurred Kareem on to a sensational response from the boxing legend, reputed for his pride and fierce principles. The great didn't take kindly to these insults.
Nice one, Mike!
At nearly 60, Mike Tyson trains like a beast, and his love for the sport is palpable. Thus, many of his fans and boxing enthusiasts came to his defense, lambasting Jake Paul for his disrespect. The news of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's encounter reached the boxing world in no time, and it saw a deluge of responses from the fan base, analysts, and fellow boxers who are into the sport. For Tyson, that only made him a guardian of the sport's traditions and respect even more. His stern reaction showed that no one will be, or can be, tolerated disrespect. It is a stance reminding people of the values that boxing upholds very well. The social media backlash was severe as fans of Tyson, along with the boxing community, inundated Jake Paul's accounts with requests for an apology. Instantly, social media platforms were lit up with reactions from fans, celebrities, and fellow athletes. Twitter was among the first platforms where backlash gained real steam, and the story became the talk of all social media platforms globally. Initially, Jake Paul remained unfazed, thinking he would be able to do a request now, as he has done with other controversies. As prone as he always is, Jake came to social media to justify his actions. He explained the reason for taunting Mike Tyson and what he wanted to achieve by doing so. He said that he is actually only bringing excitement to the sport and challenging the status quo, saying something along the lines of, "I respect what Tyson has done in his time as a fighter, but my taunts at him are just part of a master plan to get a name in this boxing business." Well, although he had first seemed capable of shrugging it off, the responses had kept coming, proving that this was not something he could just shake off because he had bitten off more than he could chew. Just like his usual mode of expropriating attention, Jake is a subject of mischief and a very cunning type, more preferably an opportunist. Mainly since he had been dormant for a while, he decided to gain recognition and the spotlight by dragging a legend of the sport. Feeling the weight of his actions, Jake Paul made a public apology. But was it sincere? Jake Paul apologizes to Mike Tyson in probably one of the biggest moments in his career. It is now up to Paul to put his words into practice and redeem himself before the boxing fraternity. There were salient features in the apology extended by Paul that made it objective: admittance of the wrongdoings, expression of regret on actions, and praises and changes on Tyson. Without such attributes, rebuilding is only complete if there is a re-established trust and respect.
Will Tyson eventually forgive Jake? Will Jake show a new level of respect and maturity in his future endeavors? The situation is still developing, and it's clear that this story is far from over.
Sources close to Tyson described that he perceived the apology as a tactical move, rather than expressing remorse. Mike Tyson just wasn't about to let Jake off the hook that easy. Mike is really pissed off and upset about the amount of disrespect he got from Jake Paul, and doesn't want to give him an easy way out. Tyson replied with a firm yet measured response. He was, in fact, calling for respect with little humility in the ring. He has equally appreciated the support he gets from his supporters and called for respect in boxing. He has also indirectly told Jake Paul hopes are more significant than the words, claiming that he should make it in a ring. Many felt that Jake Paul's apology needed to be more than just words. It should come with actions that show genuine growth and maturity. Basically, the thought of many was that they never really believed Jake was sober and didn't believe he meant all the apologies he rendered based on the kind of person he is and his ways of relating to people. The general view is that this may prove to be a possible clash of the titans between two generations and two very different public personas. Tyson's career has been highlighted with magnificent achievement and controversies. Jake Paul, on the other end, developed his fan base through social media and controversial fights. This feud epitomizes how sports and celebrity culture have drastically changed over time. Mike Tyson has been, since time immemorial, a source of inspiration and mentorship in the world of boxing. Some believe he might be able to mentor Jake and pass on that wisdom that made him legendary. It's been a big turning point for Jake Paul. Known for his in-your-face attitude, Jake has a decision to make now. Either go on with the controversial image or grow up and mature. Jake Paul is no stranger to controversy, and his latest antics have certainly caught everyone's attention. Questions are now swirling about what, if any of this, would really mean for Paul's career, or what Mike Tyson's legacy could have to do with it next. As Jake Paul begins to establish himself in his boxing career, he will have to follow his words with actions. Public opinion holds a very strong place in any fighter's career, and Jake Paul has come to one of those moments. The backlash may push him to reconsider his approach to find the balance between entertainment and respect. As the dust settles, focus turns to the future. Where does Jake Paul go from here? What should come of Jake Paul after all of this? Mike Tyson is still this very tall figure inside the sport, both respected and revered, amongst fans and fighters alike.
His next steps will be crucial in determining his future in the sport and his relationship with the boxing community.
The subsequent steps that Jake Paul will take are the ones that will either make or break him from the sport and the boxing community for good. He should make a giant stride by putting away all the uncultured attitudes and work with bettering his behavioral attributes and create new positive habits. This is the only way he can redeem himself and be prepared for a positive change in the nearest future. Jake Paul really needs to work on his level of humility and keep good relations with people around him, the boxing community, and everyone he comes across, no matter the situation he will find himself in. There are so many advantages and opportunities in humility. This is what Jake Paul should know so as to readjust and mend his ways.
He accused Paul of being a showman rather than a serious athlete, and suggested that he needed to learn some respect for the legends of the sport.
The feud between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul is a microcosm of a greater trend in sports, and for that matter, entertainment. It's a clash between two generations and two very different public personas. Both have a great rating as boxers, although one is the legend of the sport and the other one is more of an underdog, in search of attention and an audience with the taunting of the almighty Mike Tyson. Jake Paul's taunting of Mike Tyson added another chapter to his controversial journey of boxing, where most people consider this act as audacious, while others as an act of disrespect. But the best judge will be time, to see the way they will progress after this confrontation. Tyson's career is chock full of stupendous achievements, as well as controversies. Jake Paul, on the other hand, exploited social media and controversial fights to gain fame. This feud demonstrates how sports and celebrity now work hand in hand. Though a formal fight between Tyson and Paul is far from reality, the feud between them remains hot. Actually, both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have expressed interest in fighting each other in the past. Jake Paul, who is used to making big challenges, has named Tyson as one of his prospective opponents. Tyson, in his return to some exhibition matches, has expressed a willingness to fight anyone. Such a bout, if it were to happen, would no doubt attract massive attention and large revenues. Both fighters have massive followings, and the novelty of pairing a social media star with a legendary boxer would bring works in match to his terms and expectations. Concerning why he agreed to fight Jake Paul, Tyson said it was an easy decision. He views Jake as young blood coming through the scene and likes to shake the sporting world to its core. Tyson's age is a question that has been repeatedly raised, but he is quite assured and truly ready to show the world that age is just but a number. His training camp is doing fairly well, and he is also ready for Jake Paul. The event would need to pass through the regulatory commissions if it were a professional contest, taking into account previous aspects of Tyson's age and health. However, if it were an exhibition, things wouldn't have to be as stringent. Check the interviews and the social media accounts, also. The statements and actions from both fighters in the last several months give some indications to how likely the fight will actually be. Despite the noise and the scenarios, it should become a reminder that respect in boxing plays a really important role. The way athletes carry themselves will somehow smudge or push their legacy. Hopefully, this incident does something that is so needed right now, for Jake Paul and other boxers to learn a little humility and respect. It is these same values that define greatness, whether you be a seasoned legend or a rising star in the field of boxing. He was supposed to look up at Mike Tyson as one of the great boxers who have a good legacy with regards to their contribution in the sport and how he has been able to influence and inspire the next generation. Greatness is often supposed to be noticed by the lasting imprint one leaves on his field and society. This is one of the things Mike Tyson is able to achieve so far. With or without Jake Paul seeking attention, he does not have it in his criteria and reputation to relate to that of Mike Tyson. The only difference is that Mike is a living legend of the sport. His best years have left an eternal mark of a legendary legacy that will see him through until the night shall fade and never come back into existence. He has attained that height in his lifetime, and he should be respected and spoken of with class. Welcome to the end of this Mike Tyson Reacts segment on Jake Paul's apology after the disrespect. Like, share, and don't forget to smash the bell button for more notifications.